don't blame the voters. I think, look, we could get into this discussion, but one, I think you're blaming the voters. I think that's a terrible idea. Look, I debated Professor Lichtman before. I told him his theories about the keys were absurd. I was right. He was wrong. I said he'd lose his keys.
No, you were
Couldn't
not
find
right,
him
and
before
I
the
was
election.
not wrong. And that's a cheap shot, and I won't stand for it.
Well, who won, brother?
You should not be taking cheap shots at me.
Who won?
You want to make your
you
point,
live
make your
in
point.
a total
Don't make
world
it
of denial.
I read your own followers' comments, and they all trashed you, every one of them, and supported me. So quiet with your personal attacks.
Yeah, come find out again.
Make whatever point you want. Don't make it personal.
You don't know anything. You don't know anything.
You attacked me personally.
You're so deluded.
Oh, right. I've only been a professor for 51 years.
On this program, I've never been able to finish a thought.
How many books have you published? No, because you're personally attacking me again. Say whatever you want, but I'm not going to stand for personal
brother, you got it wrong.
You
were preposterously and stupidly wrong. So, okay, all right. Can I just finish a goddamn thought ever on this show?
No, not if you're personally. I admitted I was wrong. I don't need you to call me stupid.
Okay.
Can I just say, it's great to see you Democrats all getting along so well.
Who taught you manners?
It's lovely to see a post-election harmony as you all come together again.
We're just one right now.
Hey, Alan, you deserve a tall glass of shut-up juice, so can you just shut up for a second? And let someone who knows what they're doing.
You're so right, Pierre. You're so right. We're so unified right now.
They're tearing each other apart, gang. 2 weeks after their worst defeat in 40 years, the Democrats are experiencing a complete and total meltdown. We're going to see the latest approval polls for Trump. They're going through the roof. We're going to see the latest lady of The View have to eat crow on live TV. And we're going to see precisely how the new MAGA-inspired populist realignment all but guarantees that the liberal meltdowns are just getting started. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patriot professor, basking in the glow of the dawn of the new American golden age that you made possible on November the 5th. And so if you want a front row seat on all the latest developments in this rising golden age, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button and share these videos both far and wide. Before we dive in here, gang, we often talk about how we can maintain and build up the conservative way of life. And one crucial aspect of that is your routine. Staying strong physically and mentally isn't just about living longer, it's about living better. I partnered with Beam because they're a health and wellness company that's put in the time and rigorous research to craft science-based solutions that truly optimize every system in your body from the moment you wake up until you lay your head down to sleep. More specifically, I've been using Beam Dream for a while. I know a lot of you have as well. You've been loving it. You've been telling me. It's completely changed the way I sleep. I used to toss and turn while my mind raced at night, but since taking Dream, I fall asleep much faster and even sleep all throughout the night. It's a game changer. Beam Dream is made with the highest quality sleep-promoting ingredients to help you unwind and get the deep sleep you need and deserve. It's become a nightly ritual of mine that I look forward to each and every day. Plus, I never wake up feeling groggy the next morning. I even wake up before my alarm sometimes, which is something I thought I'd never say. I had the best deal I've ever had with Beam, so now's your time to give Dream a try. Shop early access to Beam's Black Friday sale and get up to 50% off site-wide for a limited time. Yes, you heard that right. Half off. Don't miss out on this offer. Click the QR code on the screen or use the link below to propel your wellness journey into the next stage today. 2 weeks after the biggest Republican landslide win in 40 years, the optimism indicator is through the roof. A new Echelon poll finds that a near 60% of Americans believe the United States is now headed in the right direction. 58%. That, my friends, is the new majority, a supermajority that is poised to keep MAGA forces in power for a generation. I'm going to show you exactly how. Stick with me all the way to the end of this video, and you will love it. At the same time, a new Harvard-Harris poll has Trump's approval rating at a historic high, 54%. Within range of this 58% optimism indicator. So we've got two corroborating polls showing significant support for the president-elect. Even the ultra-leftist Morning Consult, affectionately referred to as Morning Compost by the gold standard pollsters, even they are reporting a 54% approval for Trump's transition process. Yep, that's right. Despite the legacy media's 24/7 blitzkrieg of negative coverage of Trump's transition, his dangerous cabinet appointees, his vaccine deniers, his unqualified sex trafficking accused nominees. Yeah, after all of that absolute BS bombardment by an absurd legacy media, no one's listening. They like it. A near supermajority is all for what President Trump is doing and who he's nominating. It's going to take a long time before the legacy media finally learns the very hard and painful lesson that their days of influencing public opinion are over. Their days of influencing public opinion are over. We are the media now. I am the captain now. I am the captain. X is the media now. Independent news is now the new media. Speaking of, the repulsively woke Sunny Hostin of the comparably repulsive The View was absolutely livid to find out that ABC execs are not particularly fond of her illiterate rants about our new, soon-to-be Attorney General nominee, Matt Gaetz.
How could you nominate someone with allegations of child trafficking trafficking across state lines and having sex with a 17-year-old? My understanding, further on in the interview, they discussed the fact that once he finds out that she's 17, he stops having sex with her.
Sonny, you have a legal note.
I do have a legal note. Thank you, Whoopi. Matt Gaetz has long denied all allegations, calling the claims, quote, invented, and saying in a statement to ABC News that this false smear following a 3-year criminal investigation should be viewed with great skepticism, that DOJ investigation was closed with no charges being brought.
We'll be right back.
Oh, she big mad. Ooh, that's big mad. That's big mad face. Ooh, that's the face you make when things are just going from bad to worse in your life. And my, is that not the case for the woke left as a whole? Let's go back to that panel meltdown, shall we? Because it actually got worse. Now, if you don't know, that was Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks, a left-wing media outlet, absolutely skewering Alan Lichtman, the self-marketed Nostradamus of elections. Now, I think, branded the false prophet of elections. He supposedly has predicted every single presidential election since 1984 correctly. That's not true. He blew 2000. He predicted Gore. The others were extremely easy. The only one I'll give him is 2016 when he did predict Trump, but so did we, right? So he nevertheless ran around all over the legacy media predicting a Kamala Harris blowout win. And then when it turned out that he wasn't just wrong, he was so colossally wrong, with the Republicans winning the biggest landslide since 1988, he turned around and blamed you. He said that racism and sexism and misogyny in our nation were bigger and more pronounced than he even realized. I mean, it was just so ridiculous. So what you're seeing is Cenk Uygur and other leftists basically calling him out as the absolute grifting fraud that he is. Check it out.
It's lovely to see a post-election harmony as you all come together again.
We're just one right now.
Hey, Alan, you deserve a tall glass of shut-up juice, so can you just shut up for a second and let someone who knows what they're doing.
You're so right, Pierre. Okay? You're so right. We're so unified right now.
You want, I will not sit here and stand for personal attacks, for blasphemy against me. You don't need to do that. You don't boost
blasphemy against you? Who the hell are you? Are you Jesus Christ, you loser? Okay, can I just give the correct answer for once?
Oh, my heavens. Blasphemy against me. Blasphemy. Don't you ever speak blasphemy against me. I mean, that's taking narcissism to a whole new level, man. Now, what's so interesting here is that Cenk Uygur is starting to get it. Look at this tweet. Quote, I asked Elon Musk to put me in charge of cutting the Pentagon, and he said, all right, what are your suggestions? I run the largest left-wing network online, and a Democratic leader has never asked me that question. The idea that they would take advice from a populist is disdainful to them. So Cenk sees himself on the populist left. He was a big Bernie Sanders supporter, as I understand it. And he's realizing now that the new MAGA Republican Party is actually the party of populism. It's not the party of the right per se. It's the party of populism. And we talk a lot about this on this channel, but the key characteristic of populism is that it redefines the political divide from a horizontal divide to a vertical divide. So a horizontal divide is a divide between, left versus right, Democrat versus Republican, liberal versus conservative. But a vertical divide is a divide between the people versus the political class, the ruled versus rulers, the ordinary American versus the oligarch. Now, the reason why the populist right has been so successful, whereas the populist left has not, I would argue, and others like Matthew Goodwin have argued, is because the populist right has been able to pivot left on economic issues, being more pro-union, pro-protectionist, pro-terrorist, more protecting of the working man. The populist right has been able to pivot left on economic issues in the way that the populist left has not been able to pivot right on cultural issues. That's the secret sauce, to lean right on cultural issues but left on working class economic issues. That's exactly what we're seeing Nancy Mace do right now on Capitol Hill. She just introduced a bill that would make it illegal for the new trans member of Congress from my state of Delaware to use the ladies' room in the Capitol building. And she is in no way, shape, or form backing down. Check it out.
Here she goes. Here's Congresswoman Mace. Congresswoman Mace, can I ask you a question as you walk here? Mm-hmm. So the question is, with your piece of legislation about banning women from
100%
using...
yes.
My question to you is...
And it doesn't go far enough. I'll be filing more bills.
You have said that it was created in response to Congresswoman-elect McBride.
100%. And
but should legislation be created targeted at one specific person?
It doesn't mention anyone in the legislation, but
you've said it was aimed at her.
No, I have said it's a result of this. I'm not going to allow biological men into women's private spaces. I will stand in the brink and stand in the way of anyone on the radical left who thinks that it's okay for a penis to be in a women's locker room or a bathroom or a changing room. Hell no. I'm not going to stand for it. And the Speaker said it would be in the House rules package. If it's not, I will be ready with a motion, a privileged motion to force a vote on this. This is not okay. I'm a survivor of rape. I'm a survivor of sexual abuse. And I'm not going to allow any man in any female private spaces.
Now, Speaker.
End of story. And by the way, I'm getting death threats from men pretending to be women. Why is it that these crazy people, the insanity, the radical left, are willing to kill women over a man's right to be in a women's restroom?
Speaker Johnson has said he wants to treat every new member with the words dignity and respect. Forcing this congressperson to go into a male restroom, is that dignity and respect?
Forcing women to share private spaces with men is not dignity and not respect. And I'm absolutely going to stand in the way of anyone who thinks it's okay for a man to be in our locker room, in our changing rooms, in our dressing rooms, in women's bathrooms. And in fact, if you agree with that, you're crazy, because that's not okay. It's not okay.
Congresswoman,
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Wow. I mean, talk about bringing the fire. Talk about that reporter being out of his league. And again, you'll notice the legacy media is always running cover for the left. The woke left. The legacy media is always putting the Republican on the defensive, always, because they are the mouthpiece of the DNC, and the DNC has been infested with all of this wokeness. By the way, Speaker Johnson made it absolutely clear where he stands on this issue.
Hello, everybody. I just want to make a statement for all of you here and be very clear. I was asked a question this morning at the leadership gaggle, and I rejected the premise because the answer is so obvious. For anybody who doesn't know my well-established record on this issue, let me be unequivocally clear. A man is a man, and a woman is a woman, and a man cannot become a woman. That said, I also believe, that's what Scripture teaches, what I just said, but I also believe that we treat everybody with dignity. And so we can do and believe all those things at the same time. And I wanted to make that clear for everybody because there's lots of questions. But that's where I stand. I've stood there my whole life, and those are facts.
Now, make no mistake, what we're seeing here is the triumph of the populist right in real time. You are seeing precisely why the Republican Party's just won their biggest landslide victory. It literally since 1984. I'll go 4 years back from 88. Because in the end, 88 really wasn't. It was not a. It was a pro-Reagan coalition. It was Reagan's third term. George Herbert Walker Bush just happened to inherit it. People abandoned him so fast in 92, it made your head spin. This coalition would never abandon Trump that way. So it's very different. I think this is more of an 84 coalition. Rich Barris has been making that argument. It wasn't just a popular vote win, gang. It wasn't just an electoral college, massive electoral college win or a 7 swing state sweep. It was a win all across the board. It was a win in the House. It was a win over the Senate. It was a win in the majority of the governorships, win of the majority of legislatures. The key here is that by pivoting right on cultural issues, the Republicans have been able to successfully split the left while uniting the right. So on economic issues, the Republican Party has realigned both the white and the non-white working class around itself, having pivoted left on economic issues, while at the same time as it pivots right on cultural issues, it actually splits the left and unites the right. I mean, take any woke issue out there. Take any one. Trans using biological men using women's rooms, biological men competing in female sports, CRT in the classroom. Take any woke issue you want. You poll that issue, and you'll find that 50% of the left supports it, but 50% of the left opposes it. It splits the left. So you got the woke left all for it, but then you've got the Bill Maher's, you got the Piers Morgans, and so on. They all oppose it. However, you poll the right on any of those issues, and what's your result? You'll find that 100% of the right opposes it. So in other words, more people are likely to oppose wokeness than support it. More people are likely to come out and vote against a woke issue than they are to vote for it. This is the brilliance of the new Trump MAGA Populist Republican Party. As long as it pivots left on working class economic issues and pivots right on cultural issues, it promises to be the single most dominant political realignment our nation has seen since FDR's New Deal. And if that's the case, if the Republicans secure power for the next generation with this new political realignment, then you can be assured that the Democrat meltdowns are just getting started.